So now, the impossible, is it possible? Can we do it? Maybe. But yeah, I think most of the first sections aren't going to be fully adding new stuff because besides one later, which is an IMDb thing, and I'm pretty sure it's not this one, it's mostly the same. This is cool, this is interesting. It's starting to get more of that like stealthy action, not action as in fighting, which the second one did have a bit of that sort of like the first sort of like trying to steal and sneak in and do these like elaborate like tricks like and this has a couple of them which I like, and again it is fun. It is getting, again, I didn't really watch 1 or 2, and 3 there is a video of me reviewing 3 again. I don't know what I talked about in that one, really don't. Probably should check that out. Anyway, this was fun and interesting in my opinion. So yeah. The one thing which I like is the beginning of the movie. I'm not the fully end, but is near to the last part of the movie, which is fun. Because you reviewed it being like, I gave you this. I was like, no, don't do this. No, don't do this. And it's so fun and so insane about all of these things being like, no. It's chaotic, it's cool. And yeah, the other one is, this is the one where he takes a break for a bit and has a wife, which does affect, I think, later sequels, but I'll talk about those when I talk about those. So yeah. I do think this is really cool, and I do think this is really fun overall. So yeah, that's just the thing. I do think this is worth watching, and this is sort of like this fun sort of thing, whereas like some of these sequel ones, but I'm like, I don't have much to say besides some things. Like, I think 5 is when my favourite character, obviously 4, he comes in 4. Wait, does he come in 4? Pretty sure it does, which is Jeremy Renner's character. But he's not here yet. No, I think he's in 4 because there's a whole thing about like him being like, oh, the wife. Anyway, that's not important for the time being, and I'm not going to go into any more detail about that. But some stuff, besides the spoiler stuff, which I like to talk about, I can't talk much about it. But this is fun, this is chaotic. So yeah, definitely go and watch this. And now to this. Yeah, I found this and it was like, sure, let's vibe with this. I don't know why. I'm just gonna be like, I found this, I'm like, this exists. I don't know. Not really, but yeah. I know, there's a reason. Trust me, I'll explain myself. So I was going through Disney Plus and I was going to watch a couple of Disney Plus. This was also about the time where I thought it would be a fun idea to review every single season of Criminal Minds. But 2 things. One, season 1 and season 2 of Evolution do have their own reviews, but I do actually have a big bulk review of Criminal Minds. And yes, you could say the same thing when I reviewed Mission Impossible 3, where I also have a review. But the reason why I'm redoing that one is because I feel like that's fitting because I'm rewatching all of Mission Impossible. So it has a meaning rather than I'm just rewatching all of Criminal Minds for no reason. So I didn't do that. But I found this when I was looking for shows on Disney Plus that exist, and I decided to watch it. I'm like, I watched a lot of Star Wars, and I think I've watched most of the TV series that Star Wars produces, including some that I don't like. I haven't been enough. But I found this, so I decided to watch it. And it's good. It is cool. So yeah. If I'm correct, and I always am forgetting this because I'm currently watching the second season, you get the reveal that you get this pirate and this prince, and you reveal that they're the same person. I did also somewhat, was like, oh yeah, they're the same person, but for the demographic they're aiming for, it is a pretty interesting twist that you might not see coming. It is so fun though. Yeah, there's not really much to talk about this. This is going to be even less than 2 minutes. It is fun, and it is worth watching though. Now here's another one going from fully like a little bit more friendly Die Hard to literally death and destruction. So yeah. So it's been a while. I think Die Hard 1 was like ages ago, but yeah. I know it. So this is not me talking about the film being wild, this is me talking about the film being a while away. Which also is really funny because that means for the next couple of days, mixing between the regular show that I'm watching, you're gonna get me talking about Mission Impossible until 6, Mission Impossible until I think 6, and then Die Hard until I think when it ends, which is funny. Anyway, so yeah, Die Hard 2. Do I like it? Yes. It is so interesting. Obviously, the things I want to talk about are spoilers. Actually, why don't I just do that anyway? Because I don't care. I'm going to wait for a minute. I'm going to at least give it a minute. Okay, 2 spoilers. One I did know, and one I didn't know. So, before you know, spoilers. But yeah, the one I did know is this one that's sort of in here, which is basically, the whole thing is in an airport. And one of the things that they do is they have a plane go down, crash, and burn. And it's on a busy plane, and he tries to save it. And like, I think there's early screens where it's like, oh no, he saves it. And then it's like, no, they didn't really like it, so they rated with this, or something like that. I don't know the full details, but when I saw it, I'm like, wait, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? What's going on here? What is going on? It's so intense because of that, because of the idea of like, hey, excuse me, it's like, huh? The other one is, you have sort of like, in the first movie you have one sort of like, oh, I don't want him to be here. But in this film, it seems you have 2. The cop, or more specifically the head CEO, or I'm going to turn this off because I don't need it. The head CEO of sorts. And then you have this other more military police, which later on is like, no, he's actually useful. But spoiler alert, he's with the enemy. And I didn't actually see that coming. Because like, having this official police who's actually going to the both cops, both John and the one who was being a cranky person before, it's like, yeah, sure, I can buy that. I can buy like someone be like, okay, neither of you two know what you're doing. We are professionals. Get them. It's like they don't say that, but it's sort of like I felt that. It's like yeah. It's just annoyed. I get why you. And then when you see him actually useful, it's like, oh yeah, this guy knows what he's doing and you don't. So I'm gonna listen to the actual useful one here. And then you realise I didn't actually see that coming. I like it. Because I don't know if there's small things, because sometimes there's certain twists, I'm like, oh, I can see this coming. Sometimes, I'm not on that. But I do think it's interesting. I do love it. So yeah. Also, something that isn't part of the reviews, but I need to catch up. I'm going to go back on to doing Water again. Sorry for that's been a while. Not important, but an important message. I do like this. It's fun. It's really interesting. And I definitely want to see more of this. So yeah. One final time that when finally can be like, we can leave. We can leave these streets. And it's a fun finale. It's really good. But we can finally leave. Yeah, I hope you enjoy and good night. So, one final time. I'm without feeling. Yeah, I mean watching so many actually, but besides the point. So yeah. Again, one final time, we're back here. Because there's no season 6. Which does mean there is going to be a bigger version of this where I combine season 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So technically that should be out later today, because technically it's basically near 1 a.m. I should be going to bed, but I am bad. Don't do this. Go to bed. So this is really good. It's different. It is fully different. I am going to cut myself off a bit because there's not much to talk about, but how it takes what it is and then moves it into what it is now, I love. And it's really fun. But also, I love that both the last two are being spoilers, starting at literally 1 minute in. I don't know why that's important, but anyway, one major thing with this is that through the sort of like events, like I said, in season 4, one character dies. Alright, let me just see if I'm pointing to the right one. It's this guy. He's dead. And even if there are some more scenes with them in it, I either think it's a flashback or sort of like some things. For the most part, it's like, nope, he's dead. He's like, I thought we were going to do something. I was like, nope, he's alive. He's secretly alive. It's like, no. I also like that, compared to like 1, 2, 3, mostly the same. You mostly have the same people. You mostly have this detective doing these things, right? You still do have the conflicts, you do still have change. It's not like I say, there is change, but it is the detectives start here, they do his. It's like Criminal Minds. Criminal Minds does change, you do get new people come in and out, but for the most part is crime, besides the big moments. But besides season 4, which really shifts things up, season 5 does it even more. And let me remind you that most of the part you had this guy in charge, this guy as a doctor, and this guy as like the sort of second in command. And it shifts it up by putting him in charge, him sort of not really kind of disgraced, and him sort of being the second man to him. With this one shaking it even more, this guy's dead, this guy and this guy are on the run against another. I love it. I absolutely love it. I also love how it ends. It's so fun and so cool. But yeah. Again, I originally started watching this because I'm like, Ripper Street? I didn't know Jack the Ripper. And then I carried on and I'm like, this is way more cool than that. But yeah. It is definitely worth watching and definitely amazing and so weird. But yeah. I just want to mention this in this because I'm not really going to talk about it in other videos and I think this is interesting. So recently YouTube released a new feature called Inspiration. It's basically AI basically giving you ideas and tips and tools. I might mention a couple of ideas that I mentioned, not use them, but mention them because it's fun. Again, I won't really use them because I don't know how and I'm not smart. But one of them was just basically Ripper Street. It's not really important to this, but I just felt like it's fun to mention that. It's like, oh yeah, come on, all of them will like do like sequel Rip Street season 3 or something like that, and it's really fun. So yeah. But this is worth watching and it's fully you should watch. So yeah. And now to another one that I'm actually in a way coming back to. I know this is kind of fitting. But yeah. Shangri-La Frontier. Let's start the game. But for now, I hope you enjoy and good night. Third time's the charm. Like, legitimately. I'll get into that in a bit. That means this is just going to get bigger and bigger because this keeps getting error-y. So sorry about this. I've had a couple of errors. I wanted to double check on something, but instead of adding it into drafts, I immediately added it into stories. Again, don't fully know how that works. I've done this for years, yet I still do stuff like this. The other one is I'm currently charging my iPad, so it's on an unstable ground. So all of a sudden it stopped, and then I recorded over myself. What? That's confusing. Don't know how that happened. It literally, I was just switching because I like switching to this to something else. Credits thing being like, here's next, and good night. But then that meant it started being like, oh, do you want to record all these stuff? No. What gave you that impression? Because I scrolled, it went from 10 minutes to photo. Don't know how that happened at all. Anyway, going through it. One, I like the idea that you had VR. Because I like the idea with anime that they have these VR sort of series. You do have some others that are more video game, trapped in a video game drama where you could actually die or somewhat die. Which is like ReZero. Not ReZero, is it ReZero? Log Horizon. not ReZero. Log Horizon, which isn't VR. I do acknowledge it's VR, but it's that sort of vibe. You can't permanently like lose your memory, which is debatably more terrifying. You also have not Log Horizon. The other one that is bad and problematic, but has a better version with the one that someone else made, but it is really a fun idea. But with the drama, death, and you can actually die. There's some others where it's just fun, and the VR experience is just building on side with others. I like sort of both, because I like the dark death of like, oh, you're trapped in a video game, but I also like the idea that you could realistically just have like some fun and the game being background. But I like this. It's a combination. It's drama, but it's still just we're still friends, we're still having fun. It's not that serious, and I like it. So yeah. With this, the one thing I like is throughout all the game, besides the times where you go to the other games, you are slowly being introduced. And I think probably by the end of this, one of the things that will happen is maybe all of the 6 main of these like unique monsters will be defeated and introduce this new lore. I think. I don't know how, and my guess is there's probably going to be a big boss, which is fun, because it's sort of being like, oh, there's something more coming forward. Because in season 1, obviously, Windagon, is it? I don't know how to pronounce it. Sorry if I mispronounced any of this. But he was defeated in season 1. And season 2, because obviously you have the other one, Lightagon. Also, I just realised both of them have Gon in their names. Sorry, I was watching too much Actually, and there was a whole thing on something Gon. Anyway, and this one, it ends with 2 things. One, a sort of battle, which is really fun to end and be like, and then the battle. It's like, you make it. Then there's this whole plan, which is really fun. Most likely, I actually think, because realistically, there's some things I'm like getting used to, and I don't want to be like, oh, I'm going to defeat this. I'm not going to do that. And the good guys win. How predictable. I don't want that. I don't want. There are sometimes where it's like, and then everyone does. Like, I think, I haven't said this, but recently I watched Foundation 18 Bloodlines, which actually is going to come in the YouTube cinema updating. I'll explain later. It's a bit complicated. I'll explain on that one because that is going to be a 10-minute one. I have a bunch of theories for that. But at the end of the day, I do know that it's like, and people die. But with this, I do speculate that like they're like, oh, will he make another? I think so. Because there's so much more confrontation. Will they win? I don't know. That is another thing entirely. But I do think there is a chance they could win. But I definitely think he's going to be there. What I think is going to happen is the first match is going to be, and then finally, I won. And then it's like they're just dragging it out and maybe they get not enough time with those, etc. That, maybe. I'm not 100% sure. But it will be fun, it will be exciting, and seeing probably like the 2 things being like and doing the clock would be really intense. And really, because I think they're gonna like, it's a 4 against 4, and you have to do this weird thing, and it'll be fun to be like, ooh, how much could we do? And it's so fun and insane. Overall, yeah. And also, new big boss, which is exciting to see, like, how is that going to be defeated? We learn these informations, and how is that going to happen? So yeah, I really think this is really fun. I really find this exciting, and I'm excited to see where this is going. I really am. So yeah, this is one thing that I'm excited to see what appears up next. Mission Impossible 4. Yeah, there's more of this. I think I've got a couple more of these left, but Mission Impossible 4. Let's do this. Mission Impossible 4. We're back. So yeah, also I don't know why I keep going, I did a couple of my streams where I'm like, I legitimately don't know why I do that, but I do. Anyway. Besides editing stuff on my computer for a sec, I do like this. Really quick, sorry, I'm just getting my notes up to make sure I get my names right. Not for like the like. Oh wait, no, it's 1 minute. Cut. No. This is fun. This is cool, and I think it's super creative in a fun way. I think I just love this overall, and obviously, this is sort of roughly when I get back into like when I originally watched it, and I remember some of this from back in the day, and when watching, like, oh yeah, I get this, and obviously, if I'm correct, yeah, it's where Jeremy Renner came in. Yeah, he's one of my favourite characters, and he doesn't exist. There is a certain point where like he's in this and the next one, and but there are logical reasons why, which makes sense, and I'm fine with. Sometimes the answer's like, yeah, I'm busy, so I'm dipping, or like the thing with him with Marvel, which is so it's like a man goes through terrible disaster. Oh, by the way, can we pay you Can we pay you half the amount? Good? No, because that's called immoral. But that's besides the point. That has nothing to do with this entirely. I just wanted to drop that in there because I love Jeremy Renner. Both Hawkeye and this character, I find it fun. So yeah, I think it's really cool. So yeah, with this being all secretive and this, the one thing that I love is you have sort of two things being happening. You have him trying to figure out what's actually happening with these missiles, etc., which, in my opinion, I love. Doesn't get involved in the next one, which is fun. I also find it really interesting that it does become a bit more of like this sort of like stealthy magic trick-kiness. I don't know why. I know it was in the other one, but it becomes more of a forefront of it. I also love this, but I also like the fact that it wasn't part of the plan, and yet, if I say Mission Impossible 4, because in my head, when I originally watched it, I'm like, yeah, when did they start planning the... Oh, wait, no, that wasn't actually part of the plan. Which is fun, I think. But it's like, yeah, but this is a script in a way, we're going to plan for this, but it's not technically a planned thing that the characters do. That's besides the point. I also like the idea that it's like, you get this little thing between Ethan Hunt and Jeremy Renner, and it's at first it's like, oh no, he's just this person doing the books. And then later it's like, oh, he's this, and like, what? I love it. That's the one thing that I did forget. Yay! I forgot the key point. I also like the thing about his partner, which is fun. And that idea, which, even though I do like it, surprisingly, I forgot when I first watched it, not now, but when I first watched it, again, things are very done weirdly. And it is so fun. And as they come together with this, I also like the editing of the back-to-back of the sort of like, because they're trying to do is 2 meetings in 2 separate rooms, which is fun. And what they do later is so clever. Again, this whole thing I just love. And definitely the last thing with the doing it at the last minute with actual reasons is really cool. Again, it is fun, but yeah. So yeah, I do like this. I definitely love this sort of like thing. And I love how, again, they're doing this more like really interesting, like, spy-like stuff, which isn't full James Bond spy, but it's this sort of like, look this way, look that way. Again, it's fun. That sort of like mishanded, underhanded tricks, I love. Though in real life, if people do this to real life, they'll be but that's beside the point. So yeah, Murder Drones and Amazon Prime. Yeah, I need to explain myself, but there is a reason. But let's talk about this tomorrow. Kind of. There's a reason. How about you, Dorian? Good night. And yeah, I'm gonna add this anyway, but I just forgot to do this part. But yeah, good night. So yeah, this is gonna be very confusing, but yes. So before, obviously, I start reviewing this thing, so rise on the floor, probably not a good thing, so I don't trip. Yeah, fine, it's complicated. Anyway, before I get into this, I probably should explain why I'm doing this one. Because a lot of the time when I review stuff, it's this, and this has been out for a while, and you might have asked, oh, but didn't you watch it when it was on YouTube? Yes, and I did not review it, which some people might say is unfair. It's just most of the time when most people think of reviewing, they think of TV series, which this is trying to be a TV series, and it is fully good enough to be a TV series, but because I didn't want to be like, and I didn't know what to do with it, I didn't. I am also fully going to admit that there is other works by Glitch Productions that I don't watch, and I don't want to get, so I haven't, but I have started watching Gaslight. I think it's Gaslight, and there is something else that's coming out, and there is also the obvious, I think it's Digital Circus, and there's another one with a princess, and it's like dog. I think there's just a trailer of it out, or even like a snippet of it out, which looks cool as hell, which I might talk about, but not like this. I didn't know if I should put it on here or not. There's also a lot of stuff on Dropout, which I've mentioned before, which I'm trying to watch. But because I didn't know where the line is, most of the stuff I don't talk about. If people want it, maybe I will talk about it. I don't know. I don't know about the Metro 20. It's mostly like game shows, so it's just gonna be like, it exists. I can't add anything to it. But it is fun. Anyway, do I like this? Yes. I like this sort of like fun insaneness. When I rewatched this, it was like, yes, this is fun and awesome and epic. I also like the like character designs with these sort of like emotional and the like eyes is like so cool and so awesome. I also sort of like the idea that when you see a human hand, it's like, okay, nope. It is cool, it is awesome, and yeah. So, obviously, spoilers, because it's a spoiler section, and secondly, the one thing which is in here, which is really cool, in my opinion, is obviously the fact that, overall, when you see this, fell on the floor. That wasn't meant that. Anyway, when you see this, there's sort of like two major spoilers. One, Uzi's mum is still alive, which is a really fun thing. You get the thing with this sort of like program, the why am I forgetting both how to say it and the right word, like absolvent and English, I don't know it. This sort of thing, program, which sort of like has this interesting like thing, and it's so fun learning what it's about. There's definitely a channel, REM Games, I think it is, which talks way more in detail about it, and it's way more interesting. Go and watch that. But when you look at these things, it's so fun. Absolvent code, anyway. It is fun and interesting, and I also like the fact that we meet this like new human character which sort of acts a bit odd. And then when it was revealed it's not a human and someone wearing a human, that is so act up and amazing in the best way possible. And obviously, I think they mentioned it up in the beginning, this is a whole sort of like hero's journey sort of metaphor, which I love and is fun. And the fact that they start and end with that sort of like Uzi doing a presentation on that is fun. So yeah, this is definitely worth watching. I think I already said why I didn't when it originally went to YouTube, but because I usually do things on Amazon Prime. I don't know. It's very complicated and it's most likely shit and stupid. I fully admit that. So if you want me to actually include stuff like Digital Circus, which isn't finished, and the other one, which would include Hell of a Boss season 1, because I don't know about, because there's a thing with that on Amazon Prime as well, and I don't know if that's going to jump onto here. I'm pretty sure it will. I know season 2 will. And if that's the case, then I definitely will do season 1. And I'm just making it worse for me, aren't I? Sometimes I should just shut my mouth and just review things I watch. Anyway, this is just stupid, and yeah. And yes, the second one, Moriarty the Patriot 2. This is going to be really wild based on like how I'm phrasing it. That these books are going to be like... But yeah, I hope you enjoy, and good night.